Hello again, football fans. Welcome to Friday Night Varsity Preview. I am Aaron Schoonmaker along with sports editor Dan Spears. As always, we've come down to the state championship weekend. We have two teams to cover.
Yeah, I mean, it's the last go-round, and one team we expected to be here and another team that we thought could get here. And sure enough, here they are. So congratulations to Wallace and Pender, the small school state championships this weekend, Friday and Saturday at North Carolina Chapel Hill.
Absolutely. Well, all these teams want to be playing the final weekend. Not everybody can. There are two that are, which means we get to work the final weekend.
Yes.
And which means we get to bring you the highlights this Saturday, actually. The games are going to be Friday night and Saturday night. Ahead of time, let's talk about them.
Yeah, well, let's start with the little 1A, which Wallace-Rose Hill is the defending state champion. They take on Murphy, which is out of the Smoky Mountain Conference. And if you don't know where that is, folks, go to Tennessee and then turn around just a little bit because they're going a long, long way.
Absolutely. That's a distance that we saw last week. It affected some of the teams that had to go up there.
Yep.
They play a really good brand of defense right there. They've got to make a long trek this week all the way to Chapel Hill.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be, like I said, the thing is, Murphy's leaving tomorrow. They're actually going to get to Chapel Hill on Thursday, stayed there Thursday night and Friday night for the game on Saturday, which is something different. But in order for them to go that distance, it's the way they've got to do it. But they'll be bringing along a whole bunch of horses in this game. It's a very balanced team that Wallace-Rose Hill is going to be seeing.
Absolutely. They've scored just about 600 on the year. They've given up under 200. They've scored 22 or more in just about all of their games.
Yeah, I was going to say, this might be one of the most balanced finals you're ever going to see. 666 points this season for Wallace, 662 for Murphy. In the playoffs, Murphy's outscored its opponents 204 to 40. Wallace 200 to 30. You put all the numbers together, these teams are just astounding to look at, and it's easy to see why they're playing for a state championship.
One of the other things to look at is both of these teams' defenses have gotten progressively better throughout the playoffs. Murphy's given up 21, followed by 7, and they pitched a shutout last week. Wallace has gotten progressively better as well as they pitched a shutout last week. Two defenses both coming off shutouts.
There will not be a shutout in the 1A championship game. I can guarantee you this. There's going to be some points on the board. Probably similar to last year's game that Wallace won, but two teams in the 30s maybe.
Absolutely. I don't doubt that one bit, and I'm excited to see it.
Oh, it'll be a heck of a game. One of the best of the year easily.
Well, our show will precede that on Saturday. Before that even happens on Friday night, we got Pender playing for the 1AA.
And it's kind of a reverse situation of the 1A title game. The defending state champion is back, Wallace, and then they're playing a pretty good team. Now, Pender's the really good team coming to the state final, and they're playing the defending champion in Albemarle. Albemarle is 11-4. The thing is, that record's really deceiving because 3 of those losses are forfeits because they brought JV players up and they played too many quarters in a week. Basically, the games that they had to forfeit were wins of 42-14, 61-7, and 62-6. This is not 11-4 is terribly deceiving. This is a 14-1 team that's only losses to Thomasville, and we all know how good Thomasville is.
Absolutely, and they might have one of the best defenses around. They've only given up 150 some odd points in the year.
Yeah.
Very similar to Pender, they have 2 backs over 1,400 yards with 20 touchdowns.
Yeah, and again, but you look at Pender, they admit that they aren't going to throw the ball at all, but now that they've got 4 1,000-yard backs, it's like I said, it'll be an interesting test for this Albemarle team.
Absolutely. One guy to look out for the Albemarle defense, Shantigo Parker, 168 tackles on the year, 12 tackles a game.
Yeah, I mean, they just beat you to death. They call it the oak tree defense, basically, because it just doesn't bend. It doesn't even bend. You hear a lot of people talk about defenses that bend and don't break. Albemarle's defense doesn't even bend. This, like I said, they call it the oak tree. It's a really neat thing for them. Like that's their thing. They hang their hat on. The only thing that really plays into Pender's favor here, I think, is the fact that they've played in so many good games against quality opponents. The Tri-County Conference went and put 3 teams in the state semifinals, had 5 teams in the state quarterfinals. Albemarle's conference had 1 team win a playoff game. They went 1-6 in the playoffs outside Albemarle. I mean, the number 3 team in their conference was East Montgomery, and Pender ran the opening kickoff and beat them like 55-6 or something. So Pender's seen some big games. I don't think they're going to be as phased by the atmosphere as they might have been had they played a little softer schedule. But boy, Albemarle's probably going to be the toughest team they've seen all year. Them and Wallace-Rose Hill.
And really, what I think is it really comes down to pace. Pender has thrown the ball once in the last 2 weeks. They slow the ball down. They really try to eat the clock. They've had 8 games this year where they've given up 10 points or less. So they like to play that low-scoring, we'll score a couple more touchdowns than you, and we'll run the clock a little longer.
Yeah, and again, I think we said this last week in the
Yep.
Southwest game. If Pender can just stick with its game plan and not be forced to throw the ball at all,
Yep.
they're going to be great. And they'll stay in the game, and they've got as much a chance to win as anybody. If Albemarle jumps on them for whatever reason, a fumble return, a kickoff return, something, and gets Pender out of its game plan, they could be in trouble.
Absolutely. I think that could go either way. Pender's, like you said, probably the better team on paper when you go into it.
Sure, but Albemarle's been here, and,
Yeah.
and they've already got the ring. So they would like to have another, I think.
Well, that makes for some interesting football. And like you said, we're going to be there. We will have all the highlights for you. We're going to be at the game Friday night. We'll be at the game Saturday afternoon. We're going to come to you with the Friday Night Varsity Flashback Show on Saturday evening.
Yep.
We'll have both games for you there. We'll have all the details, all the highlights, your winners, your losers, some post-game stuff as well.
Yep.
So be sure to tune into that. Also come back next week. We're going to take a whole look at the season as it was, as it is, and
Yeah, okay, and we'll throw some highlights in there for you, maybe some big hits, some great catches, those sorts of things. So
all the things you like, hopefully.
absolutely. So come back, like I said, and don't forget to do you pick them this week. Remember, it's state championship week, final round for everybody this year. You will be picking all 8 state championship games. So break out your internet research and get ready to go.
Absolutely. Well, you're already on the site, so keep checking it out. It should be updated. We got basketball season starting as well, so be sure to lap over onto that and keep checking it out while you're here.
Yep. See you in a little while.